Welcome back to another video of us just dissecting everything in SuiteDash and making it fun and simple for you to build out. Now, I want to first start by saying I'm officially launching something called Workflow Sensei, and it was at first a dream, but now it's actual reality with 10 days to actually launch. But we're giving everyone an early bird special, and that early bird special is going to be only limited to the start of this launch. And I'm going to tell you about it, so don't worry. What Workflow Sensei is a bit further than YouTube. It's more touch to touch. It's more real. It's more of an experience, okay? What I have created thus far is the ability for you to actually get templates from me. And you also get the experience of actually living through a workflow as a client. So through this exact interface here, you'll be able to go through a process like a bookkeeper or maybe like an onboarding process. And if you like it, then you just get to use it for yourself. Like I'll give you all the keys, the templates, the designs. And yes, I design everything that you see. And so I wanted to make this easy for you to be able to come in and experience and enjoy. And it's live now where you can actually sign up for the actual wait list. And when you sign up, you'll get full access. The subscription is already $77 for early birds. And if you do come in at the launch time, it'll be $97 a month. So that's inclusive of all the templates, all of the details that I do within these videos, but a little bit more detailed because I want to make sure you get a course to understand my personal formula and also just the ability to test out everything inside of a real life SuiteDash platform. All right, so today's video is going to be focused on debunking the actual thoughts that ChatGPT can build out the system. Now, I'm going to premise this by saying that I have used ChatGPT in the past to create things like this Workflow Sensei map out or stuff like that, but not to actually build it from start to finish because it doesn't know the system. And so anytime someone says, oh, I went to ChatGPT and I tried to build it out and it's giving me this information, I'd always take that information and say, this is not possible. That doesn't work or that doesn't happen. There's just no reality behind it. If you are in search of a space that maybe like you're very interested or intrigued to know how exactly can I do this or what exactly is this thing, you want to cross-check ChatGPT with your actual SuiteDash help space and utilizing what used to be a dog, which is now Kevin AI, this AI assistant to see if it makes sense. And sometimes because it is an AI assistant, it doesn't always get it right. So let's play a game, and that game is going to be very simple. We're going to actually do this live. We're going to test it out and debunk some things because honestly, I'm not trying to kill hopes and dreams, y'all. I'm really not. I'm just trying to make sure that the reality of you understanding that ChatGPT does not save the world is here. All right. So we're going to do this prompt together and I'm going to tell you if it's something that you can actually do. Now, again, I'm premising by saying that I use ChatGPT and I have kind of like used it to help me with wording and things like that for certain areas. And so it's going to speak like me, but from a person that's never used SuiteDash before and never understood the system, it's probably not going to be really super clear. And I want to debunk those things. So let's do a prompt together. I am a newbie in SuiteDash and I want to create an entire workflow process for my clients. I'm currently a coach and I do want to make sure that my clients have an experience that will first start with them engaging with me. And then I want them somehow to get onboarded. And then I also want to make sure that they have like a very clean understanding of how to use the system. I also want to send invoices and I want to make sure that I get paid. And I want to make sure that everything that I want to do in the system, like tasks and stuff, is possible. Oh, by the way, I'm using SuiteDash. Can you tell me how to build this out? So I'm using this as a person who's a newbie, someone who's never used SuiteDash before. And of course, it always says SuiteDash incorrectly. So hopefully it doesn't give me my own words because it absolutely would. But we're going to see how it works. So coaching workflow, let's try to debunk this. Now, it might actually give you common sense things. And maybe if you put that same prompt in, it will give you some common sense things too. But as it's going, we're going to go through this process. So what it says first, as you can see here, it says that it's going to first engage with the person, and so it will create it's advising you to create a public forum, which they're saying to use a kickoff form. Would I do that? Yeah, but I always have to ask the question, well, is this person actually going to have a first call with me first, or are they going to need to just fill out a form and then I'll reach out to them? Because with the kickoff form, you can still have an appointment block on there, but is it thinking like that for me, or did I put enough information in about my process to them? All those things go through my mind. And so one part of my formula says, what is the first initiation? How do people reach out to you? Because if they're coming through a phone call, if they're coming through, let's say they're coming off of a social media post or something like that, they're not going to go on your website and be like, hey, go, do this. They're probably going to immediately call. So if a kickoff form is the route that we're going, cool. Or maybe I do a booking form. So these are the questions it says to add. Of course, I can get more specific if I wanted to, but that checks my box. I would actually do this. I would create a kickoff form if it doesn't require for me to have a call immediately. And then it says, the instruction says using form builder public forms. That's not right, y'all. Okay, I don't know exactly who told that this is the thing, but that's not the thing. I'm also very intrigued though. Let's go ahead and put the same prompt inside of here and see what it says. Because the Kevin AI also is going to summarize everything that you say, but it's pulling from the actual knowledge base of SuiteDash, so it might give you a better instruction. So it says to use the personalized custom. Okay, so the portals, this is not even giving you a detailed one. I think ChatGPT probably gave you a little bit more detail than this did. Yeah, it gave you a little bit more detail than this did. So we're gonna hop back over here, y'all. So stage 1, we have all the things here, and then we have the next step that says for you to embed the form in your website or link it directly in your bios or email. Okay, it's gonna have an automation that triggers to create a contact in the CRM. It's not necessarily an automation because it just happens. The terminology is very important because they could possibly create it as a company and they're the primary contact. So yes, sends them a nice thanks for reaching out email via autosender. How? Is it doing it by itself? Do you have to create that? It doesn't specify on that either. Moves them into a circle. Interested, leave. But did I create the circle? Did I think about how they're going to transition into that circle? Where are they coming from? Were they already in a circle? Stage 2, we have the discovery call. Okay, so the appointment scheduler. So it moves them to decision, interest to decision. It sounds like it's saying like it's a deal tracker, but there's nothing really being tracked. So they filled out the form. It is assuming now that they're making a decision, but it didn't tell me what role they're in. Are they in a role for a lead or a prospect or a client? It says what to build, the appointment scheduler, booking tools. Okay, let them schedule a clarity call, discovery call. But how? After the form is submitted, redirect them to schedule a call. How? All right, so how do I do that? How do I actually make that happen? Add an email reminder with the email marketing tool. So I'm at the point now where I'm just like, as a new person, I'm probably going to get so frustrated because I'm going to look on YouTube. I'm going to look on all types of things like, okay, well, how do I do this? And again, I'm showing you guys how to do this in the Workflow Sensei, okay? Because YouTube is great, but I want you guys to have the knowledge on how to actually test it out live as well. And I can only do that experience firsthand. So they're not giving you enough information to really understand how to implement these things. They're just telling you what ideas to do. Stage 3, they're saying proposal, agreement, and invoice. So they're saying lock it in, make it easy, and get paid. All right. So they're saying make a proposal template or a contract. What is a contract? Do they mean a document? So you have a document that you can use, a coaching agreement, invoice, attach it right to the proposal workflow or send separately. But I'd have to create an invoice generator to do that. So that doesn't really help. So combine the proposal, contract, and invoice in a single flow. I don't think SuiteDash does that. I think SuiteDash has a proposal that can do proposal selections for any item and package, and they also have a agreement section where I can add the contract, or are they speaking that the contract is supposed to be the document, and then the invoice doesn't automatically generate, but I can have it convert automatically once they've selected an actual package, and then it converts it to an invoice, and that would be the next page that they see. That is possible. Add automations, which is to move them to the active client circle. Well, I didn't create a circle, so does that mean I have to create the circle? Where do I create the circle? And I'm sure that you guys are asking yourself these questions, or these may have been your frustrations in the past, right? And so this is where I really want to help understand the formula. Like, there is a formula to this. There is a clear formula. Give them a seamless welcome experience. So client dashboard. Okay, so welcome message, a link to the onboarding, but I can use an onboarding flow with a welcome message, a step, a checklist guide, and actually have the form embedded. So collect the data. The workflow tip is to trigger the portal access after the payment. Okay, but how do I do that? If I've never used it before, how do I do that? Task, sessions, progress tracking. So now I have to use a project. Okay, well, how do projects come into play? How and when did a project generator come in here? It doesn't even tell me it's a project generator. It just says it's a project. So now I have a project and I have tasks. So am I pre-scheduling the task? How do I pre-schedule it? It says task template. So then I would have to go and figure out what a task template is. Client sessions. Well, that means that I have to use a booking tool, but did I create an actual booking appointment? I'm going to pause to try to, ChatGPT is not giving me all the things I need. And so stage 6 is says communication and feedback. So I'm using the messaging module to actually communicate with them. I can use the email campaigns for nurturing sequences, check in. Where does that come through? Okay. I know it's giving you a lot. So let's say, can you provide details on how to set this up? Because I know that the frustration is you'd probably take this entire chat and then give it to someone on Fiverr or someone on Upwork, and then they'll be like, yeah, I could do this. I can make this easy. I can make all of this happen. And then they come back and they're like, well, what did you want this to be? Or they're not thinking with you. They're not thinking for you. They're just kind of giving you all the things. So, okay, so this is kind of giving you a little bit insight. Okay, so this is still wrong. CRM forms? No, because we all know that right now, forms is its own toolkit. And then inside of there's nothing called public forms. It's just a kickoff form. Office bookings page. This is not correct. So it's giving you false information all at once. Okay. So maybe find a video to help. Right? So then they're searching the web because they're like, okay, now I'm frustrated. I don't know. You have this build. This is from a great person. I know actually who that is. So shout out to them. And so you have that video, and then you have one of my videos that comes up, and it gives you the option to click on that video and see all the things. This was actually a live walkthrough that I did, which was a very big deal at one point. So you have that option. Let's see. So you have different ways to play around with the system, but really and truly, there's still a lot of missing pieces. Okay. So we're not okay here. Anytime someone needs to have something set up, I don't say, oh, go to Marie. I'm not a salesperson, right? I tell people, go over to this beautiful space of SuiteDash And when you get on this page, there is a partners option here. And it says promoter or reseller. So you have like a promoter in which you're able to promote the system, right? Or you have the option to actually do a reseller program if you are the person on the outside wanting to like partner with people. Or like you've learned, like you're like, I know the system. So if you are the person that's like, I know the system, then sign up. But hiring an actual agency partner is where you want to go, because the agency partners, and your girl is in the sensei bucket. Okay. Agency partners are going to be where you get the truth from. So with this, you have the ability to understand all of the brilliant things about SuiteDash and being able to connect with one of us to understand how to build it out. Becoming an agency partner is definitely one of a great way to kind of promote this in a way where it feels very, very, very easy. And this video is really not about doing that. It's about just helping you to understand that ChatGPT is not going to set up your system for you. I can't understand how people really rely on this without trying to find support, real support that can help. So let's even say, because I've gotten people who really want their dashboards to look a certain way, right? What can I build out on my dashboard? So this is one of the fun parts about SuiteDash, because people feel like the dashboard can be a magical space for them to see all the things. And yes, it can be, but there's also unrealistic advantages where people want to see like certain links or buttons or progressions or milestones, and they don't realize that it's not possible without data. So for example, everything so far here, right? So it's possible for a welcome video. It's possible for a checklist, even HTML, right? It's possible for that. Possible for quick links. Possible for a progress tracker if you're going to update it with a data. So you can either have a static value or you can do a custom field. Milestone, program milestones, also possible with data, depending on how you're doing that. You can do upcoming upcoming actual sessions if you have a button going to their appointments. You can see their tasks because there is a task widget. Calendar widget does not exist. Okay. Resources and materials can be linked to the LMS. Maybe you even have it on a portal page or even in the files. There is a file widget as well, and that can be showing a folder structure. Session notes and homework upload. So this can be a form or this can be a file for sure. That is possible. You can do a file upload widget, or you can just do a regular form and embed that form block. Testimonial request can be a separate link that takes them to a portal page, or it can be an updated form. I want to see a mock-up. So I want to just give the reality. SuiteDash is a beautiful space. Oh, they're doing a mock-up via some embeds, which is cool. So SuiteDash is a beautiful space. It helps you to create the world that you want to see. And just before we kind of wait until that mock-up comes into place, I want to really dive back into why I'm really, really excited about this. The launch is not for me to get money. All right. This is not a sales pitch. This is really for you to be able to experience what I've been building out for other people. I've created so many beautiful things and I want to share it. And literally, it's a low rate because I don't want to make it feel as if you're buying into a big thing. SuiteDash in itself is already a system that you're going to have to build out. You're going to have to make sure that you can maintain that. And if you have a lifetime deal, then it's already paying for itself. But if you want something where you can consistently have the ability to step into the actual workflow experience, and let's say, for example, you want to be able to build out a booking experience for someone, you can actually have this workflow and you can create it for yourself. The other thing that we're doing as well is unlocking the workflow. So you get the ability to preview it and you get the ability to actually purchase the templates. So what I want you to understand is that this system is made for you to have a full-blown SuiteDash experience. One that people always say, this I can do, versus actually showing you how to do it, right? And I really, really want you to experience that. They gave me a mock-up, but the mock-up is really going to be based on some HTML code. Let me see if they can do an image. Because I want to see if it shows me based on what it can look like. Also, with the widgets, while we're talking about this, SuiteDash is ever growing. They always have the ability to make sure that they can have things. The newest release that they had was a projects widget. So cool, because now you can actually see all the projects on one screen. The booking form was really recent, and the booking form, I know for certain that it's supposed to come out with payment eventually. I'm so excited to see what these images look like. But I just want you guys to understand that SuiteDash is a system that can do it all if you set it up right with the right person. And so this is a gateway into you being able to see how to set it up and how to really enjoy the system in its full capacity. A lot of people are piecemealing it. They're trying to figure out how to do this part, how to do that part, and they're struggling with understanding how to actually get everything to come together. And what I always say with other videos that I've made is that literally all of these features that you have, the support tickets and the projects and the marketing and the portal pages and the forms and the flows and the automations, all of that is able to be a perfect working self-sufficient model as long as you know how to set it up. This image is coming out to be a little bit great. Checklists do not look like that. They do a little bit better, but I like it so far. And granted, like I said, the customization of the dashboards that we've had, amazing. We also make them custom just so that you can be able to kind of see just like you're on your phone. I always tell people you want to be able to work on your phone, right? That's possible. So you have that ability to do that. So it's coming together. We can actually do this. This is actually really possible. So this one popped up quicker. So with this image, I'm gonna tell you what's realistic, what's not. All right, because I do see something that's not realistic. Does it want to open quicker for me? All right, so based on this model, I think I'm actually going to build this out so you guys can see it and possibly show you how to build it out on a workflow experience. So you obviously have to be in the Workflow Sensei in order to see this, but this is absolutely possible. This could be a card. The way that it's divided, it looks like we can do it either in the space of a half column or even a full column. I want to see if this is in full. So you'd be able to do that from a full column. Like it looks like it's a half. You have the ability to get the getting started checklist, but this would be the actual implemented toolkit for checklists. It will not look like this at all, but you would have that ability. We can make buttons like this, completely possible. The buttons itself, to make it look like this, I would have to play around with the margins because that will be very big. You can also do the upload homework section, but the upload widget doesn't look like this, but you can have that section like that. Share your story can definitely be a form. These resources links can absolutely be a thing because you can hyperlink them. The progress tracker is absolutely possible. The only thing that's not possible is for this to update by itself because you have to make it custom. So that's the only thing. This one started, but it's the same thing. So I hope that this video, as short as it was, gave you a little bit of insight to understand the possibilities, the reality of what ChatGPT is able and capable of doing. It gets you started, for sure. It gets you started. But what I would say is, again, consider joining the Workflow Sensei. Early birds, $77. And if you are a person that comes after, it is $97 a month for templates. Also, to be able to do workflow previews, and I'm surveying everyone because I've literally worked with e-commerce, customer service people who do different types of things. I've worked with VAs, I've worked with different agencies, and I've worked with also car salesmen. I've worked with grant writers. I've worked with different type of worlds. And I've built out their systems. And when I built them out, I've also taken knowledge of just what their processes look like. And so we're trying to build out those experiences for you. I've even worked with someone who does real estate and FHA loans, things like that. So there's a lot of different worlds that you can have. Thank you again for watching, and I hope that this was very informative, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.